You know, this wonderful God, his wonderful plan, the difficulty, the hindrances that are here, but his remedy, it's all in this prayer. Our Father. He's our Father. He wants to be our Father. That's wonderful, isn't it? That's part of how we get through this life in the right way, by experiencing our Father, him, who art in heaven. It's not any God, just any kind of God. This is the ultimate God of the universe. Hallowed be thy name. You know, he has so many different names. Savior, Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, the superabundant, all-providing God, the one who is the liberator, Jesus, the one who is the one that takes the garden and makes it into a beautiful, fruitful, nourishing, sweet-smelling flower. And thy kingdom come, thy will be done. See, this is part of the problem. But this is also the solution. We're bucking against his kingdom, his will. All of us have done it. Maybe you're still doing it today. Sometimes we revert back into it. And this creates problems. But we need to have that idea, that attitude. See, that's part of the solution. Your will, your kingdom. And on earth as it is in heaven. So we need that here. We need his will and kingdom everywhere. In our life, in our soul. Give us this day our daily bread. See, that's part of his wonderful plan. He's going to provide for us things we need, or ways to get these things. You know, our friendship, our rest, our peace, our transforming power, our forgiveness, our discipline, everything. Relationship, that family, that work. And forgive us our debts as we also forgive our debtors. See, there is a stumbling, there is sin, there is this hindrance, these blocks that need to be somehow balanced out, paid for, remedied. This rebellion needs to be somehow erased from the books. And so part of it, he points out here that, you know, as we are enabled, and he wants to forgive us, but it's not going to come. If I want forgiveness, but the rest of it I don't want, it's not going to come. I need to, God, whatever you want, including forgiving my enemy, somebody who abused me, everything. And then there's an opportunity. And he can help us have that attitude too. And let's see, and do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So here again we have something of this hindrance, something of his wonderful plan. He's gonna protect us and kind of, you know, provide a hedge, not let it get too bad, too hard. He's in control. That's why we're talking to him about this. He can provide. If it's in his will, he can provide anything that he's able to provide. And the remedy, see, you know, we don't want to say, oh God, send me all the temptation and testing and tribulation you can. I want to be the best person. I don't think that's a good idea. Just send me what I need, or allow me to have what I need. I don't want any more than I'm supposed to have. And then on top of that, I need help every step of the way. Help, because of this weakness, this failure, this fear, this ignorance. And so you can see the 4 principles of life there in Matthew 6, starting at verse 9, the so-called Lord's Prayer. And if you look at the Sermon on the Mount, it's an incredible sermon. Maybe the #1 sermon of all time. And then Jesus talks like he's God. He doesn't talk like some prophet or second in command. He says, but I say unto you, but I say unto you, but I say unto you. That's how God would talk. Not a secondary God, but the ultimate God. There is only one God. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses can try and talk about how there's two different gods. They are polytheists. There is one God. They say they believe in one God, but they'll talk about a second God, secondary God, mighty God, Jesus. My friends, Jehovah's Witnesses, you are very confused on this issue. You are brainwashed. You have a bad translation. Sometimes it is ridiculous. It likes to use words like fine instead of good that don't even make sense. Repeatedly. It uses earthling man. It just sounds Mickey Mouse. It refers to Jesus in Matthew, the story of the nativity, the birth of Christ, like about 7 times as in it, with the pronoun it. No other, I've never seen a translation refer to Jesus as an it. It's just downright crude, rude. It's just disrespectful. And on top of that, Jesus is God, and you guys are calling him an it. And then it says in Revelation, if you change anything in this book, all the plagues of Revelation will come upon you. Well, they changed the word Lord to Jehovah, and there's not one Greek manuscript on this planet that has Jehovah, and they know it, and they'll tell you in their Bible. They don't have a Greek manuscript, but they give you various reasons why they changed it anyway. They changed in Revelation and throughout the New Testament, they put Jehovah with no Greek manuscript backing it up. Hey, you know, if we can start changing stuff like that, my gosh, then sky's the limit. I think maybe I could find a bunch of stuff that I think should be different, and I can just change it. Come up with some kind of justification. Now, the Protestants and Catholics have, in my mind, done something similar in the Old Testament with the translation of the 4-letter word for God, commonly referred to as either Jehovah or Yahweh. And what we've got there is like 4 consonants, and we're not sure what the vowels are, so therefore we're not sure what the pronunciation or the actual spelling would be. But there are some translations from the Hebrew to the English that actually have Jehovah in them instead of Lord. And most of the English translations have Lord in all capital letters, and it's done about maybe 6,700 times in the Old Testament. Who gave these translators the right to change the name of God into something more generic, like Lord, from something that Yahweh or Jehovah, which means something like He is? It's very interesting to note that there's no record in the Gospel accounts of Jesus himself using the name of Yahweh or Jehovah. Was that because he never used it when he was on earth, or was it because he rarely used it? There's also no record of any debate on the issue of using the name of God versus referring to God as Lord, except for when Jesus referred to himself on occasion as I am. There was definitely some conflict when that happened, because the Jews knew what that meant and considered that blasphemous for somebody to refer to themselves as I am, the same way God at the time of Moses referred to himself. So I'm thinking that Jesus probably didn't want to unnecessarily rock the boat on that issue, except where it would really do some good and reveal something very important about him and God. So that's why he used the term of I am, referring to himself repeatedly, because it was no longer he is, God's over there. That wasn't to be the emphasis any longer. It was more to be now the emphasis of God is here. I am here. I am available. I will be with you if you will embrace me. It's an incredible name in the Old Testament, and many of the English translations have, to me, put something else in its place. And he is. I think that God used that name, I believe, for a couple reasons. One, he is, but two, he is blank. He is what? And then there's many places in the Old Testament where that blank is filled in, and also in the New Testament. And actually, Jesus' name, I believe, completes the Old Testament name quite well. I mean, very wonderfully. He is, Jesus, meaning he is the one who saves, or liberates, or opens wide free, like a flower in a garden. He's the one that takes care of the garden of life, his people, to where they are nourishing, sweet-smelling, and beautiful.